Changing minds one thought at a time.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Changing Minds Online, the Empowering Women series. How are you doing today, Jessica?
I am doing awesome. It is a wonderful, beautiful night here in New York City, and I am actually recording this from Central Park. It is gorgeous out. Perfect evening. How are you, Akina?
I am great. I am super excited to talk to our guest for this evening, Miss Kay Whitaker of Kay Whitaker Solutions, and she's going to tell us about how to be the one. How are you doing today, Kay?
I'm good, Akina and Jessica. How are you ladies doing?
You're fantastic. I'm so excited to have you on the show tonight, and I'm so looking forward to hearing what you have to say. It's an amazing topic, so thank you for coming on our show.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us about Be the One.
Well, Be the One is my mantra. And I like to call it my mantra. Some people call it a tagline, but it's really what I live by in my business. So quick story, just about a little history of who I am. When I started my company, I started out of a very emotional place, being in corporate America. I've worked for the past 10 years in sales and marketing development for some very large companies. And I was responsible for spearheading projects with people that were a few years, twice my senior, and that presumed that they knew a lot more about the area of marketing and sales planning and management than I did because I was young and I was a female. So I would come home night after night, and at this moment it was nothing but a phone call on the way home with my mother. Look, I am tired. I'm tired. I'm smarter than this. I'm smarter than they are. That was my attitude at the time. And I can be whatever I want to be. I don't have to, be here in this situation. And I am just plumb tired. And my mother would always tell me, well, whatever it is that you want to be, baby, just be it. Just be that person. So as time went on, I worked for a few more years. And, in the past year or so, working for friends, helping them establish their business, I had to start asking myself, if there was one thing that I could do that could change everything about my life in this moment, what would it be? And I took that and I decided at the moment that, I'm great with sales and marketing, planning and development. Everybody that I come in contact with, all of my friends, I help them strategize for their businesses as far as their sales and marketing practices are concerned. So I'm going to be a professional marketing coach on my own. And that was my one. So from then on, it was like, okay, be the one, because I find myself preaching that to my clients time after time. Just focus on that one thing that you could do that could change everything and be it. And if you do that, then life will definitely turn out the way you want it to be. So in essence, that's where it came from, and that's what it means.
Vaga, you are totally speaking my language right now. And, it's often said that you have either two options in life. You are either working to make other people's dreams come true, or you're working to make your dreams come true. And, it sounds like you have destined to make your dreams come true. And I think that's amazing. And it's something that we're so lucky as women to be living in the world we live in today. It is such a fantastic time where we do have the ability, especially through social media and marketing, which I'm going to get into, to brand ourselves and create anything and anyone we want to be. So, what can you talk about that? Because, I know you are an expert in branding and creating your business. So what would you say to some of us who are really just getting started out in branding ourselves?
Well, what I like to always tell people is focus on your values, focus on your beliefs, focus on your mission. And those things will help you to send a message to the world about who you are and what you stand for. So a lot of times when we talk about marketing, we think about the last piece, and that's the promotion piece. We think about how we're going to advertise our product, how we're going to sell it. But marketing encompasses the whole process of when you start from the very beginning, when you're creating your baby, when you're creating your product, all the way until how are you going to get it out for someone to sell it. And there's a message from the very beginning that you have to be able to deliver. And that message, especially for us when we're personal brands or we are forming partnerships with other women, we have to be clear in that message and be clear in who we are so that we can deliver it properly. And a lot of that comes from your core values and the beliefs that you have as a person and what you want your business to do for someone else. So really quick, I'll try to go through it. You know, I'm a marketer and a salesperson, so I talk a lot. So if I go on and on, just stop me if you have a question. But from a product standpoint, what is it that people are going to receive from you once they get finished in having dealings with you? So if it's a service, how is it going to benefit them right now? How is it going to benefit them in the long run? What value are they going to receive from you? And how do you tell that story? Especially, you made a great point, Jessica. We use social media now for just about our sole purpose of marketing, especially when we're starting off, because it's free, or at least it's no cost, but it's the easiest way to build your blueprint if you're starting off. So in a social media standpoint, how do I display my beliefs? How do I give my story without anyone ever hearing it come from my mouth? And to do that, you have to know who you are, one, and what you believe in, and how to translate that to someone else. So for branding purposes, and I say this, you know, as we deal with one another, you'll learn I'm a very sharp shooter, so I tell it exactly how it is. As a woman in business, and I'll use myself for an example, I'm a coach, but my values are making other women, as you said, just to believe and understand that they can create whatever they want to for themselves. And I have to display that in my message. But in order to do that, I have to empower you through inspiration, through motivation, and I can't do that if I'm in a negative state of mind and I'm putting negative out there. Well, what's negative, Kay? Well, negative is if I had a bad day, and instead of me saying, yeah, today was bad, but tomorrow's going to be better, I go into a woe is me story online where, oh, my day was horrible. I just can't believe life is treating me like this. You know, you have to be appropriate in the message that you're sending out, especially if tomorrow I'm going to turn around and say, you can be whoever you want to be. And just because you had a bad day doesn't mean that you can't continue to work towards what you want to work on. I can't send mixed messages. So I have to be careful in the way I present my message online. And a lot of times what I see us as women do when we're marketing, because we are so emotional, we put all of it out there. And we expect, you know, today we're upset and we had a bad day and we told you all about it and we're feeling sorry for ourselves and everything is just woe is me. But tomorrow when I try to encourage you, you know, you're still thinking about yesterday. So we have to almost practice what we've preached. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Kay, you bring up a really great point. And, you know, and women are very emotional, and I think it's great that you bring that up because, you know, this is an empowering women series, and we, you know, as women, we know we are capable of doing everything men can do, but we do think differently, and, you know, our bodies function differently, and women are very emotional, and, you know, it's something that we need to take into account. You know, I've once heard said, and I really like this, is don't put anything on social media or Facebook you wouldn't want your grandchildren to see. And I think that, you know, social media is new, and, you know, and we can kind of think, well, you know what, it doesn't really matter. And, you know, we all heard when Facebook first came out, well, be careful because your employer might look at it, and don't get Facebook because once you know, a lot of my friends, when we graduated college, you know, I started my, you know, college, my freshman year was when Facebook came out, and a lot of my friends after senior year took it down because they didn't want their employers to see it, and now we know it's a valuable networking tool. But, you know, what we really need to come to understand is that it's permanent. You know, what people are putting in their teen years, you know, I have a friend I just mentored, a younger friend I mentor, and I let them know, I said, listen, you need to stop putting these things on Facebook because you don't understand that 20, 30 years from now it's still going to be there. And someone will still be able to Google your name and find these things that you're putting up there that are not positive. So I think you're really bringing up a fantastic point about making sure that, you know, you do know who you want to be to the world. You want, you know, you have to figure out how do I want to show up in the world and making sure that the things you're putting out on your social media fit into that image that you want to create.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've heard it said before that we are no longer in control of our brand. And that's halfway true in my opinion. We're in control of how people perceive us based on what we give them. So if I'm putting it out, then that's your perception of me. And once you've formed your perception of me, it's hard for me to go back and change that. But if I know what my beliefs are and I know what my values are and I know what I want to give to you, then if I do that, then that becomes your perception of me. And your perception is your reality. So then I have a brand. Now I've created an authority for myself, and it's based on the information that I've given you. But you don't control. You can't just put out there and say for myself, oh, I'm a image business coach and I'm positive. I have to display that through the things that I put out. It's no longer just a matter of saying what you are. You have to really be that person and act on those things. And that's a part of what I tell myself daily. You know, I want to be this. So this is what I'm going to display because that's what I want people's reality of me to be based off of what I've given them.
Awesome. You know, a lot of people really need to hear that because, you know, they think that they can just put anything out there and then it doesn't matter. They can change it. They can fix it. But that first impression is the one that lasts because
Absolutely.
You just may have had that bad day, but that is probably the one that big client saw. That was the post that big client saw. And now they're not talking to you anymore and you're wondering why. So
Absolutely.
We definitely have to monitor what we do. So with that was a great nugget. Do you have any other nuggets that we should really
Akina, on
pay
that note,
attention to?
before we switch topics, you know, I just like to give a really tangible example, if that's okay. Apologize for cutting you off, but to step in now, you know, we've actually put calls to action to ask people. We want to empower women, so we looked. Akina and I actively look on Facebook for women who are entrepreneurs who have, like Kay, a specialty in the field that would be valuable to our audience. And a lot of times women will message us and ask us, can I be on your podcast? And, you know, we will go on your social media and we'll look to see what you're posting. And there was one time where someone, you know, messaged us and she asked if she could be on our show. And I looked on her Facebook and her current status was a swear word. And it was in regard to some sporting event. And I told her, I said, no, well, this person obviously can't be on our show. And, it's entirely possible that 95% of what she put out there is positive and it is encouraging, and she very well may be an expert in her field. But with that one little thing that we just happened to see at that moment, you know, that denied this opportunity for her. And you never really know what opportunities it is that you're missing because you don't know who's looking at your profile and you don't know when they're looking at it. And you want to make sure that at all times you're really portraying yourself in a positive way.
Absolutely. And, you know, you make a great point because I say this all the time. Every opportunity, every post, every update of your status, every picture, it's an opportunity because it's exactly like you said, Jessica. You have no idea who is going to see that. When we're on Facebook, when we're on Twitter, when we're on Instagram, our reach, once you post it, you are out of control of how far it goes. And you don't know who other people are connected to. You don't know who just by happenstance will fall on you. I get clients all the time that I have, and I'm like, I found you on Facebook, but I'm not sure how I ran into you. So you have to be mindful of that when you're doing that everything you put out, everything you say, every picture that you take, it is an opportunity to make an impression on somebody that could be a potential client, or you can influence their life just in the words that you speak. And those words are spoken through your text or your graphics that you share online. So great point.
Well, okay, what other marketing tools would you suggest are a must for women in business? A must. Social media is great, and I live and die by social media, but you have to get out and talk to people. You have to network. Social media is a tool that I use to get in front of people. It's almost like a resume when you're applying for the job. Your resume has to be so clean that your interviewer will bring you in, but when you show up, it's you. So it's about you, and it's about your personal preference. So you have to get out and engage with other people. You have to find places that even if your business is online, you have to get outside of your doors. Like, you cannot stay at home and sit behind a computer. Go to the coffee shop. You never know who you're going to meet that could be a potential partner or that could really do something that could elevate your business. So network. Networking is so important.
And when you leave your home, you are a walking billboard, so you need to always be dressed for business. And I say that because I am a mother. I have 3 small children, and sometimes I just don't feel like it. But I am also a solopreneur that has to take advantage of every opportunity that is given to me. So just because I'm a mom and I just want to put on my mom pants and my T-shirt, I don't want to comb my hair, I don't want to put on any makeup, I just want to leave, I can't do that because while I'm at the grocery store, I could be talking to a board member or a possible board member for my nonprofit. So there are tons of opportunities, and you have to be ready for those. But what's absolutely necessary is to get out and network and talk to other people.
Yeah, that's really a great point. I mean, so many people think nowadays, because you can run a business off of social media, that, you can just stay in your house and you don't have to get out and go around. And it really doesn't work like that. Like you said, no one wants to, we encourage women to use social media and, kind of the mixing branding of their day to build their brand and build their business. But you do need that still human face-to-face value. And, you don't, as an entrepreneur, you want to be projecting to women that you are living a balanced life and that you're living a happy life and a healthy life. And sitting behind your computer all day, every day, that's really not balanced, healthy, or happy. So that really one-to-one interaction is really important.
It's very important. And, even if you aren't networking with a big group of people, for us as women, we get so consumed in what we do on a day-to-day basis that we sometimes forget to take care of ourselves. We forget about our girlfriends. We forget about our spouses, our significant others if we have them. And those things are important, and they are a part of, yes, having a healthy mind is a part of being able to market yourself as well. So you have to take care of yourself. So that's a necessity. Find time to meditate. And I'm a spiritual person, and I'm not here to push my spirituality on anyone by any means. But if you believe in something, dedicate that time to it and be enriched by it so that it can keep you in a state of mind that you need to be in. Treat yourself. It's okay. And I know, for people that are just starting off, money is tight. It doesn't have to always cost money. Go to the park. Just so you said you're at Central Park and it's beautiful outside. Go sit outside and just breathe in some fresh air. But get away from work. Take some time to get away from work just so you can free your mind, because you have to be in a healthy state of mind to be productive. And if you're not, then you're not able to focus on business and perform at the capacity that you need to. It could be very detrimental if you don't do personal things for yourself as well.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, and it's so true. I mean, and Akeen and I are very raw and open on this podcast. And, we let you know exactly what we're doing. And, I do work full-time, and I do have this business. I'm a full-time network marketer. We have our podcasting that we're doing. I'm actually working on another business project. So I certainly do a lot of work, but it is so important to take your time. And like I said, I'm recording right now from Central Park, and, it doesn't, okay, like you said, as an entrepreneur, oftentimes in the beginning, you don't have a ton of money. You're investing money into your business. You're doing a lot of upfront work. You know you're going to get that reward, but you don't see it right away. And many times people sit and say, well, I can't take those times of rest. I can't go out because I don't have the money and I don't have the time, and time is money. And those people, they never make it to the end. You're going to burn yourself out. You have to make sure you schedule personal time in on your planner. Make sure you have blocks of time off that set aside for you. And it doesn't need to be expensive to go out. And, one of the reasons why I'm at the park today is, and I also am a spiritual person, I said to a friend, let's go meditate in Central Park. Let's have a picnic. Let's get our exercise in, because you have to take care of your body. So we did a 6-mile walk, and, now after we're done with the call, we're going to do a meditation, and where I'm actually, I need to make a choice in my life, a pretty big decision. And I'm spiritual. I'm saying, listen, let me bring this to God. And I call it God. If you want to just sit and think upon it and reflect upon it, because you don't call, God, that's your choice too. But, you need to actually have that moment of quiet, that moment of clarity, and just allowing things to come to you. And, it doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't have to be expensive. I think in total we spent $8 tonight between the two of us for Chipotle. And that is our evening tonight. And I'm having a wonderful time. And, as an entrepreneur, like when you are working to create your dreams come true, you have the ability to do things, at 9 o'clock at night in Central Park. Yes. And that's really the beauty of what it means to be an empowered woman and an entrepreneur.
And recognize those things. Those are wins. So when I start off with my coaching clients, I schedule a session just to celebrate wins, because sometimes we get so consumed, like you said, in work, and we have all these different projects coming up that we don't recognize when something has gone well and we've accomplished something. And even if it's just saying, okay, I am going to, for the next month, spend 15 minutes alone by myself, and you do that, that's a win. That's a win. So you need to celebrate that, because that gives you momentum to keep going. And for me, for myself, when I first started, no money. So in order for me to be able to free, even if it was just going outside on my balcony and sitting outside and not doing anything. I mean, just not nothing. I'm a Pinterestaholic, so I would get on Pinterest and I would play around and look at things that I wanted. When I started making all that money, okay, I like that house. That's what my house is going to look like. And that gave me momentum to go back inside and get at it again, because I was doing something that had absolutely nothing to do with work. I'm a reality TV holic, and I know that's terrible because it is garbage, but that is my freedom. That releases my mind. At the moment, there was just a couple of us. I would call my girlfriend, hey, we need to go walk at the park. And we would take our kids, and we would go stroll the park free, no money. The only thing it cost me was my time and my gas to get there. But you have to be creative in a sense to say, okay, how can I do this where I can enjoy myself, but it doesn't cost me money? Because lots of times we think, oh, if I'm going to go out, I have to have some money. And you don't. You can just go outside and walk around the block, and that's some free time. And it gives you a moment just to be at peace with yourself. I pray every morning. I pray every night, and I know what God's promises are for me. You know, and again, I don't want to push my spirituality on anybody, but I know that he promised me that if he would give me the vision for it, that he would provide in order for me to do it. So I quit worrying about money, and I just focused on the vision, and that's it.
That is a great point, because when you were saying you get inspiration from just Pinterest, and a lot of people, especially when they are brand new entrepreneurs, they think that kind of thing is a waste of time. But what you need to realize, inspiration comes from everywhere. You would never know that next big idea is going to come from Pinterest, going to come from a reality TV show. You don't know how it's going to be delivered to you. Don't ever let go of any type of opportunity, because what is for you is for you. So just go with it. You know, if you are inclined to watch that show, you never know what's going to happen. You may find out that they are running a business, and something that you've been praying about is in fruition right there on the screen, and you are like, oh, my goodness, that's my answer. Right on the screen. And then, you know, so don't ever downplay anything that you do. Your time being good to yourself is as important as you getting that check. Because if you are not whole and if you are not filled, then you cannot give to your clients so that they can give you the check. So if you're not, okay, basically you are the check. So if you are not checking it, if you're not checking all your dots and crossing all your T's, then you're not going to get any checks, because you're going to be burned out and you're going to be tired and you done gave up. I love that point. You know, I love that point.
And people can feel that. Your energy transfers. Your energy transfers. Mm-hmm. And I tell that to everybody. However you feel, what your mood is, that transfers to your client. So if you're down, guess what? When you're talking to your clients, they're going to feel that. They're going to be down. So what good are you? I mean, I don't need nobody else bringing me down. I can do bad by myself. I don't need any help. And I sure don't need to pay you to bring me down. So you have to stay up. And it's hard. It is so hard sometimes, because life happens and you have to deal with life. But you have to remember that one thing, the one thing that you could do, and it goes back to be the one. What is that one thing that you are set out to do that will change everything? That changes everything. And if you could focus on your one, then your one can act as the fuel for your fire for your everything else. So when it gets hard, go back to the one. And if you need to, write it down. Rebecca, write the vision down and make it clear. So I'm a little radical on that. I have it written on my bathroom window. I have it on the screensaver on my phone. When I go out into my living room, I've got it stuff, posted up on the wall. But, do whatever you need to do that works for you. But have it in a place that can remind you, because when all hell breaks loose, excuse my French, you need to hold on to that so that you can keep going. And that one thing has got to be able to push you through it all. So you have to know what that is and remember what it is and hold on to it so that you can keep moving, because there's nothing. I know it's already hard being a woman, period. Jessica, heads off to you if you're working full time and doing all these things. Girl, I've been worn out in that situation. But you too, Gina, y'all both work full time and you have your businesses on the side. But it's hard being a woman, period. But being a woman on a mission, especially if you're on a mission that, God is giving you, and I'll use him because that's what I'm familiar with, things start to happen. And you got to be rooted in him, and you got to be rooted in that thing, that one thing that's going to keep you going, because if not, it's like you said before, you get burnt out, you get tired, and that energy starts to transfer to your clients, and before you know it, you don't have any more clients because nobody wants to pay you to be down. I don't need to spend my money for that. I can do that on my own.
Yeah, Kay, I think we're just kindred spirits. I mean, we're definitely speaking the same language tonight. And, it's so funny because we've talked so many times on this show about finding your purpose and that really being the really number one reason, and like Simon Sinek, if you haven't seen his TED Talk, Start With Why, you really do need to figure out what is your purpose. And, God created our lives for a reason, and I call him God too. But, he created our lives for a reason, and we have a purpose to live into. And there is nothing better than living into your purpose. And there's nothing more rewarding. There's nothing more fulfilling. And that's what allows you to do what you do. That's what allows me to work all these hours and to enjoy it and to love every moment of it and just know that I am touching people, I'm changing people, and I'm living into the purpose God created for my life. And, it's funny because I also have everywhere posted my purpose. It's on my car when I'm sitting in traffic. It's like on my dashboard. It's on my screensaver. It's on my I have it on my mirrors. Every mirror in my house has it written on it. Go to Staples, get those window crayons. They work really well. They work better than the window markers.
Yes, they do.
It's just phenomenal. Yeah, but some wonderful advice. And we could talk about this forever, but it was just at almost 9:30. So if you could summarize, and I think you already really did talk about going into your purpose, but if you can summarize for everyone tonight and just one last piece of advice you could give us before we close off tonight.
Absolutely. The one last thing that I would tell anybody that's listening here is just really understand what that one is. Focus on that one thing that you could do in your business, in your home, in your personal life, in your career, that you could do that will change the outcome of everything around you that you want and desire to happen. And that's really it, guys. I mean, it's just really focusing on the one and being that person on a consistent basis.
That is wonderful.
And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. If someone has been touched by what you said, can you let them know how they can find you?
Absolutely. So I am very easy to find. I am Kay Whitaker all over the place. And since I use social media as my form of communication, my favorites are 4. Facebook first and foremost, as most people. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Kay Whitaker, and that's spelled K as in kite, A as in apple, E as in egg, Watermelon Henry, Igloo, Tom Henry, Apple, Kite, Egg, Red. Kay Whitaker. That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Kay, for being on our call, and thank you for everyone who called in tonight. This was, I think, a really, truly powerful call, and so it's, such a necessary topic for women and especially women entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for being on our show, and we're going to close the call now. It is, right at 9:30, but thank you for everyone who called in. We, and Kina, as Kina is always a great reminding us, she is so wonderful about putting these recordings. So if you want to hear this call again, if you think of a friend that you want to share it with, as soon as we finish, Akina has it right up there on changingmindsonline.com. We're on Podomatic. We are on iTunes. We now have an Android and an Apple app. So just search for Changing Minds Online. Yeah, right in the App Store. And you can also find us on YouTube. And we are also on everything, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and probably some other, social media ones. Akina's the guru on that. But so check out, listen to this call again, share with your friends, tweet it, Twitter it, whatever it's called. And have a great night, everyone. God bless. Thank you for calling in. We love you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.